emotional kind of coherence and cohesion there, which I think is a brilliant step forward, and it's a beautiful one for the World Rugby. And people who don't watch rugby every week, and we do have people watching the Six Nations, Dupont, scrum half, is one of the best players in the world, Clive, isn't he? He's a wonderful player to watch. There's no doubt. I mean, the scrum half position in France has always been strong. I remember Taylor being one of the golden boys of the English team. But the French rugby is always number 9. The scrum half, there's a history of fantastic scrum half. This guy's right up there. At the moment, arguably one of the best players in the world. In saying that, when you're playing against the best player in the world, he's the guy you got to target. Nullify him, you beat France. So this England team has got a real mission today. Man, we can win this game. And this is what England are good at. Normally when we're in corners, underdogs, we play really well. And when you start putting people in likes, like Dupont, the best player in the world, I'd love that as a coach. He's the guy we're going to stop. We stop him, we beat France.
So in a way that we were saying that it'd be massive for France to win, going ahead to their own World Cup. If England were to win today, it sort of reinvigorates them, don't they?
Good afternoon, everyone. For anyone that's in here, make sure you ask me any questions. I assume most you guys that are in here now are have seen some of my videos, and for example, you know I'm a football referee, so like I said, feel free to ask me anything. I have lots of opinions.
And that should really hurt them and come out really firing. So I'm expecting a big performance from England.
You played in France, club rugby. Obviously, played against France a lot, and sometimes the relationship between the French Federation.
Sadly, I can't. I can't stream with ITV actually down in the bottom corner. Sadly, I would like to have that down here, but I can't. It just doesn't show up.
When there's that feeling of total sort of unified support. That everyone feels like they're.
There you go. That's any English player that I really know of, Johnny Wilkinson.
When they get that right, and that's kind of the understanding I was talking about, not just game plan, but actually personal understanding between teammates. They're so talented. They're so adept with the ball in their hand. They're very subtle. They're very feeling based, and they can make things happen, which other teams really struggle to recognise.
We've been waiting for this in the Six Nations, so Clive, let's be honest, haven't we?
I can certainly see one comparison for starters, guys, that the whole pre-game is very similar to football, if anything. Even, for example, the little stand that they've got for the pundits, exactly the same as football.
We win that battle, we win this game today. Stop Dupont, we win this game today.
Is there a specific characteristic up front about this game, Lawrence, from your experience? Is this the most physically intense of all the Six Nations games up front?
Yeah, it's a great rivalry. There's a reason why France haven't won it for 16 years, because we don't lose, and we've got to go out there with that attitude today.
That's Anthony Watson leading out the England team on the occasion of his 50th cap, a third game here at Twickenham, an empty Twickenham, of course, in the Six Nations. And we hope, of course, very much the last Six Nations and an empty Twickenham or an empty anywhere, of course, after the last 12 months that we've had. But this really is a game to say that England has so much to prove after a disappointing championship so far. And the French, of course, like the Welsh, of course, one step.
I love the length of the line.
In Paris next weekend, the French, of course, very much with designs on.
And I'm not quite sure why they've spread out so much.
They haven't won at all since 2010. Well, as we've seen at all Six Nations matches this year, here is a continued message of rugby against racism in any form.
Are they kneeling as well? It's quite interesting to see that not all the players are kneeling, which I think is fine, each to their own.
Time for the anthem, starting with La Marseillaise.
Right. For some reason, I lost the chat. Right, let's go through some of the questions. Brace myself for a terrible loss. That's not the attitude. That's not the attitude. Poor old England. Oh. What dog? Hang on, right, let's have a look. Yeah. Creamy streams. Yeah, no, I couldn't. It just doesn't allow me anyway to put the ITV stream on, so saves me any problems, I suppose. Cheers, Nick. I think, to be fair, I've always been quite anti-rugby, but that's because of childhood, school, experiences with school, basically, that had put me off. But I think I'm actually, from doing the videos recently, it's amazed me actually how supportive and kind and respectful people are in the rugby side of things. So it's sort of changing my mind, and it's opening my mind on watching this, for starters, because this is certainly not something I would be watching normally. Jay Funds, what dog do I have? I don't even know where she is. I have a little Jack Russell. You'll probably hear her barking at some point because she likes to bark outside the back door or out the front window.
Get complicated.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, hope your mum's doing all right.
Take us home.
Have you arrived home yet, or are you still in Alabama? Let me know. I assume you're still in Alabama then. On a side note, guys, I don't know if any of you watch Alan from Eclectic Beard, but I've got, shouldn't give you my details, a huge parcel of American sweets. So we've got a video that will be going up at some point when we get around to doing it when Alan's back. So I look forward to that.
So time to see if England can get their act together, or if the French can take another step closer to the Grand Slam. Your commentators, Ben Kay.
Geometric stranger. Does that mean you are either Irish or Scottish? Because I'm watching on the ITV hub, so I'm in front of my computer, I might be slightly behind, all right? So at least you would have seen it before I have, and therefore you can explain things when I have no idea. So
around the chimney pots of southwest London all day, it'll test the accuracy of the kickers and the chases and the catches.
So yeah, geometric stranger. You are, yeah. Which one are you from? Ireland or Scotland? Which one? Let me know.
This is the ignition switch. First job for Billy Montola. Hammering the ball. Whipped away by Ben Youngs. Taken by Chris Durant. France fall back today. Try scorer here in the Autumn Nations Cup in December. These two know each other very well. Although the French side in particular, a very different one to that afternoon. Garfield, who they have in midfield. Willowy and full of grace.
Question.
For the first time.
So after doing my video of the differences, I got the assumption then that in Union, what this is, you are allowed to contest when you've made the tackle, when the player goes down, so it gives the other team a chance to get it. They don't seem to be contesting. So am I completely wrong? the England players seem to be holding off and actually not trying to get the ball. Do you normally get tries within the first minute?
That man there, he accelerates quicker than anyone else. He sees the opportunity and he puts his foot down. He reads the game. Really good play from France, dragging England from one side of the pitch to the other, creating space on the outside. Now just watch Dupont as he sees the opportunity. He goes to the floor now before anyone else. That means
I did have a look on the Live Scores website, and it did say I assume at the time it was like 41-0 to Wales. So without watching it, I was keeping an eye on the earliest rugby.
What Ben Young thinks, and he had a close up. There. Lots of talk about. Right,
I have another question. Right, hang on. I'm going to answer this. I'm going to read what Johnny says first. Any contest legally, which means pushing the opposition player away so the ball is on your side. You can't use your hands. Okay, so you can only physically push. You can't go and grab the ball if it's under them, I assume.
He was absolutely flat out fit.
80 seconds.
Johnny May. Who was Johnny May? What number's Johnny May? My other question was, I was going to say, okay. My other question was, obviously, when you get a try, when you score a try, you then obviously get a kick. What determines, is it always the same distance away? And is the try positioned where, sorry, is the kick positioned where you actually score the try? You know, how far, does it always have to be the same distance away from the thingies, posts?
Which will become such a feature of this match, and it's brilliantly taken by Johnny May, working so hard on that part of his game at the moment. Anthony Watson, 50th test about winning this afternoon. With early opportunities to rebound shot of the try.
Thanks. Johnny May is number 11. I'm looking where he is on the pitch. Oh, he's right there in front of me.
To use his weight to go in, but it can still have it. Charging run. And then Vunipola off the foot. Ford. Farrell. England finding some gaps. Billy Vunipola to Watson.
That makes sense, Johnny. Yeah. Okay. I didn't realise that you could go any distance away from the try line to take the kick, but I did assume that you had to take it in line with where you scored the try.
Sean Edwards drilled line being stretched here. And May 6 seconds this way and that. Henry Slade, who hopes to give the ball, has to go in.
That's interesting.
Mako Vunipola. When Booker today, Luke Howard starting. Youngs, and still the rumble.
I assume because, as you guys said, you can't, when you contest after the tackle, you can't go and grab it with your hands if you're the opposition player. You've got to physically push them back. So I assume that's why the player that's being tackled kind of positions the ball back towards his team, so it's further from. You'll very rarely see me getting that close like the referee did in football. I think the difference there is actually you want to see, as a football referee, you want a wider field of view, whereas this is quite specific to where the ball is.
Wilson, his body height's perfect. He extends through, but Gail Fickow just.
That's all right, no problem. Come in and out. Come in and out. The fact that there's 23 people here, you know, that shocks me as it is.
dealt with by the French defenders, but he put one up. It was kicked to compete. Bruce still lands a little fullback, but he's very good in the air. Johnny made an outstanding job of winning that ball. Fast forward a phase or two to Tom Curry's carry. France right in the back foot.
I assume England didn't score a try. So why are they now doing a scrum? Someone's going to have to explain me that. I assume they did that too early.
Just interested as we approach the first scrum. Bernard Leroux not playing today, Ben. And
Okay.
that can obviously cost you in line-out scrum a little bit. But of course, Roman Tasmanero in the second row is a huge.
Okay, so if the scrum collapses before, I assume before the ball gets put in, you just do it again. I assume with the weight of all the players, they're big boys, aren't they?
Bernard Leroux is just one of those accurate players that never seems to make a mistake. Robolock just gets every decision right. And they'll miss it. They're a bit looser without him in that back.
England get the shove on French Twitter, and they go left, and Farrell. Now Billy Bonaparte. Kept you on early on from him. Carl Sinclair. Likewise, these are short.
I see. And I assume then it's really awkward. It's really awkward calling you creamy streams, but I assume players often a bit of gamesmanship collapse the scrum on purpose.
How pragmatic this French side are, how much they will. You can know this from Jalabert, but see the window open. They'll also run Eccles. Damien Penaud under some pressure from Johnny May, and then England have it back. Bakatao with the tackle on Slade.
Talk a bit too pragmatic the last 30 seconds or so. You do what they want.
Why did he decide to kick it and just give it to the other team? Is it just to be able to push the defensive line up? Because surely England now aren't going to give the ball away, and they're going to be exactly where they were before. Yeah, that was, I think that was my point. Creamy streams, that gamesmanship, you can, if you're saying that a referee can see it being deliberate, a deliberate collapsing, you're trying to make it look like the other team is causing it, to then therefore get a penalty or to penalise the other team instead. Okay. It just doesn't. That French kick. The French kick didn't seem to help them, because now England are there. Literally, England are now right in front of the try line. 5 points? Is it 5 points? Yeah, it's 5 points. 5 points for a try, 2 for a kick. I think, yeah, it's so Johnny, I assume it's not great because it's so wide, and to get a good angle you have to go really far out. That's what I assume. Creamy, I think you need to explain your name now, even if it is vulgar.
Lovely stuff. Runs out of Jose into lovely pass from George Ford to finish it off. But there's definitely a sense that England want to soften France up in the middle, but they're absolutely, yes, they're ready to kick it. They need to compete, and they do.
And who was saying that this is going to be horrible 80 minutes for England? Right. So Owen Farrell. Can he do it?
Johnny Wilkinson, England. I've just returned there at the moment.
Cheers, Callum. I'm definitely behind you about 5 seconds. You've ruined the surprise for me now. Good kick at that angle. Very good. It's okay. I've got a my best friend, he is in London, and obviously I'm down over here in Hampshire, and we quite often watch football matches together, but in the sense that he's streaming it, and he streams it on Sky, and I stream it online, and so quite often Sky is a lot further ahead, so he has to obviously pause it, and then I do a little countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just so we can get it at the same time. Otherwise he ruins all the surprises. Do you guys let me know if the so if I'm behind, that's fine. I said it. I think with this it's fine me being behind, because it allows you to see, and then I speak, and then you're able to explain things. I think that works fine. But if you want me to turn down my sound, I'm more than happy to do that, just so you guys can't hear my sound on your speakers. No, I don't, honestly, I don't mind. Thanks, Kian, and you others, but you're welcome to say that. That's absolutely fine. It's not like I support any of the teams, really, although I'm from England. That blue just literally flew over the scrum. Surely. Right, a referee point, guys. A referee point that I've noticed. A referee in football, when you indicate which way, who's won the foul or whatnot, you obviously indicate the way that the team is attacking. So if it's the team on the left, you flag to the right. Whereas it seems in rugby, your arm signals the direction that the team is actually on, which side of the pitch. And I assume this is a kick because that the French player literally just flew over the top of the scrum and wiped someone out. Well, not scrum, but you know what I mean. He just doesn't got the same panache as Johnny Wilkinson, really, does he? Yeah. So Alex, that's what I'm saying. That, and actually, one thing when you're a lino, especially when you're a lino in football, is obviously you've got your two halves, and you obviously, like I said, you signal the way that they're playing. So, for example, here, if England are on the left side and they win a free kick, you would signal to the right because it's the direction they're going. And the problem with that being a lino in football is at the start of the second half, and it's happened probably 2 or 3 times for me, is your mind goes blank and you're still in the first half mentality. And you've got to remember which way they're attacking. And I said about 3 times I've got it wrong and I've gone the direction of the first half, if that makes sense. Whereas this seems easier because, go on, power through him. No. Dropped it. Whereas I think that must be easier in rugby because you're literally whatever side the colour is on, whatever side the team is on. Yeah, so I think I was right then. How do I even pronounce that? Lao Tragao? Is that right? Let me know. Yeah, Lao Tragao. I think I was right in what I was saying then.
Had he bided his time, maybe the defender would have been in his way.
Oh, the old French player did well to get that back. The guy that took the throw. He's weaving. He's weaving. He's weaving. He's gone for a kick. I assume that's just for him to try and catch it. No, he didn't quite get it. Lei Cragayo. Well, that's close. That's close. I said more like Lao. For that, yeah, Neil. Hi, mate. I'm slightly behind because I'm streaming direct from the ITV hub. But by the time, Neil, that I see it and ask the questions, you guys should know the answers because you've already seen it. But it's about 20-30 seconds, I think. What I'll try and do, let me try and restart the stream. See if that helps. I'm gonna see if that helps. Right, I will say when he kicks. And kick. Let me know. Let me know. I said kick exactly when he kicked it on my screen. Ah, Neil. Like I said, at least you've seen it. Like I said, so if I've got questions, you've seen what I'm asking about. Uh, 10-15 seconds. That's right. I did just restart the stream, so hopefully. The advantage law. The advantage law in football, that's all I can comment on because I don't know about the advantage law in rugby. I assume it'd be similar. The advantage law is purely subjective for the referee. At the end of the day, if there's technically a foul or an offside, something like that, the referee has 100% in the law. He has the ability to stop play. However, he also in the law has the opportunity to play on. There is nothing on this. There is nothing better being a referee, playing advantage after there's been a foul, and then that player scoring. Oh, he did that well. That was a good catch from the England player. I got France. Yeah, there's nothing better than giving advantage, shouting advantage. That player scores. Yeah. So like I said, the advantage in football is very, very subjective. And the best way for advantage, if you're a referee, is you obviously hold your hands up to your shouting advantage. The time you've got your hands up, that is normally the amount of advantage you're giving. So as soon as you put your hands down, then that's quite often end of advantage. But the problem is it's so subjective. It's so subjective. Yeah. If you want more detail on certain situations, let me know. If you know of a situation that's happened recently. I did have someone in the comments. I did have someone in the comments of one of the videos that I did about the Dortmund. There was a foul for a penalty. Hangeland scored later on. VAR picked up the penalty, and then the goal was disallowed. You just think, well, surely advantage says that they'd scored. Anyway, Hangeland, I think, ended up missing the penalty.
It's a brilliant tackle from Cyril Boyd, not only to catch the quicker man who knows faster.
So do you have to, when you get tackled, if you, by that, from what I just saw then, if you get tackled and you drop the ball, does it automatically go to the other player, the other team? Just watching the replay now. I couldn't even. I don't understand that. Really, that's interesting that the advantage for rugby can be like a minute. That seems a bit crazy, because the reason in football that it doesn't need to be that long is because, you know, you've got, after that foul, if play continues, you've got your free choice to make a pass or to dribble with it. If you're able to make a successful pass, for example, then you've had the advantage. You know, why are you having it back when you've achieved something, you know? But I said, yeah, I said I don't think it should be longer in football. It's certain situations, sometimes it is longer, sometimes it's shorter. But like I said, as soon as a player has made a successful pass, for example, just as a specific example, then that's advantage. That's the advantage given. Would anyone tell me why was the oh, bit of fisticuffs? Relax. I like that. Oh, he's still getting shoved. I like that number 6 went in there, because quite often in football you get players holding the other team back after little fisticuffs. But number 6 there, he didn't. He literally kept his distance, but put his hands up to say stop. That was a little bit more respectful than grabbing hold of people. Just a collapse. Okay, that makes sense now. Let's have a look. Yeah, I've not heard a single bit of referee talking at the moment. I need to see some dissent for the referee to for me to hear. Okay, that makes sense. Creamy. No problem, like. Yeah, no, don't. So back on the offsides. Back on the offside situation, then we are taught as football referees that you very rarely give an advantage in the defensive half. So, for example, I'll use England and France here as an example. If England were still in their, if they were still in their own half and there was a foul, you wouldn't play an advantage because they're in their defensive half, and the chances of them gaining a good advantage is next to none, basically. So you only play it for starters in the attacking half normally, unless there's a long ball up to an attacker or something.
Conceded a penalty for the tackle, so France with the advantage if nothing comes of it. Aldrich again bashing his way through. Good pass. It's not released 6. To get that extra advantage back at that was going to that. We did have it cleanly, however. And still having a swirl around. That's our France and tell people do it. Can I dig over the top here?
Yeah, that makes sense, Johnny. I said you're less likely to get the advantage if you're in your own half, because where you're going to, you're not likely to be able to get into an attacking position. So quite often the free kick is better. No, Alex. No, I don't think players do just kick the ball up. Sometimes a player will just stand still. If they know they've been fouled, you shout advantage. Sometimes you do get players just stand still, and therefore they're not actually trying to play, and therefore they get the free kick because, there's no advantage. So that happens, but you don't really see. Oh, how do I kick Pamela? Pamela, come on, Pamela. Oh, Pamela. Let's remove Pamela. See ya, Pamela. Thanks for joining.
Really good expansive rugby, hard to deal with, loads of options. Antoine Dupont looking super relaxed at 9, of course. It helps when you've got the penalty advantage. There's a big difference, I think, between giving away penalties.
Oh, really? Just joining all of them.
Penalties that just don't need to be given away, like a lot of the ones we saw in Cardiff. I think these penalties are pressure induced.
Oh, I deleted the mess. I deleted.
The week with the referee.
I've hidden user.
See how they react in situations. Of course, it's a match situation, but there's a certain hard about it. However, Mathieu Jalibert.
I tell you what, it is interesting that, and I assume it's the same with football. The fact that there was a few of you guys that said England are going to get smashed. All right. Yeah, there's a few of you that said England were going to get smashed. They are currently winning. I do stress again, though, it is that is a huge difference, I think, with rugby and football referees, in the fact that the rugby referees are getting within like 5 yards. So they're, because I suppose, like I said, a lot happens solely around the ball and very little happens away from the ball. The referees have to get so much closer, and that's probably why it's a lot more dangerous for a referee. Yeah, sadly, Kian, I don't know how England have played this year, so so I might be surprised. I don't know.
Wait for a defender to open up a space for it to run into, and unfortunately, England's support players were all running back after the initial.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Daniel, yeah, that's the funny thing. It's not like it's not free on ITV, and if you're in another country, then just have a VPN on and pretend you're in the UK. I did see, I think it was the Nigel Owens. Oh, he went really long with that throw. That was interesting because when they did the throw from the line, see the players go up, but he literally threw it straight over all of them. Look at that. I assume the England players just weren't ready for it.
Absolutely stunning back play from the French team.
Teddy Thomas, such a threat on the inside from that line out inside fielder, isn't he? The defenders stick, everybody sticks. And Jalibert, you could see him. You could see the options opening up in front of him. A big gap between Farrell and Bay opened up, and he went for it. Then he saw it close, weighed up his options for a perfect pass to Penaud. Split second thinking from a top of the range fly half. That was beautiful.
That's certainly what it seemed like from that throw, that England just weren't ready and they weren't prepared. Got it.
It's a lovely kick as well, and this is a lovely game to watch. England 13 from 70.
Well, I don't know if the term is the same in rugby, but it seems very end-to-end sort of game. Is that, do you use that term in rugby? End-to-end?
One of the great tries of the Six Nations.
He squeezed over on the right wing to score a try in Dublin. Damian Penaud had a little bit more room to score over on the right side against England.
Back to that. Back to the throw. I think that even as a non-rugby person, even I could see that the problem was England were focusing so much on that small area where the throw-in was coming from that actually they just weren't. The other players, it seemed to be that the other players not in the, I don't know what you call it. What do you call it when you lift the players up? The players that weren't involved in that just weren't switched on. Line out. That's the one. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you're actually listening to me.
Option for Henry Slade. Felt like there was too much on it when he connected, but there wasn't. Good cover for the fullback. Didn't you see how much
I must say though, if the ball was properly round, it wouldn't have done that funny bounce, would it? I know. I think that was Farrell. Farrell. He would have definitely got it if it wasn't a funny shaped ball.
He also sees opportunities early, almost is half over the game line before the defenders have spotted him coming.
Once more goes. Okay. I assume then that's what the those sides, the side those horizontal lines are for, to show the distance the ball's travelled. It's just a joke about the rugby ball. I think that's a common footballer's comment about egg-shaped balls. This is the first time in that line out that I've actually heard the referee. Now that I've said about not hearing the referee, I'm actually now hearing them all the time. I think it's one of those things you tune out of if you're not actually trying to pay attention to it. So in Kian, so in terms of reacting to the highlights, in terms of reacting to the highlights, the problem is even the highlights, from what I've done some other bits and they've got the not monetized situation. Now, granted, I'm not here to be monetized. I'm actually here just to learn. But when you do these videos, yeah, it's basically, there seems to be no point sometimes. You've got to be picky what you actually react to. Because, yeah, basically I've had a couple of videos that I've tried putting up that have literally just straight been banned and you're not allowed to even put up. After I did the James Acaster video, I tried doing his, hang on, I'm just watching. He's getting, oh no, he didn't quite get through. Yeah, I tried doing James Acaster's Taskmasters top moments. Straight got not allowed on, it got banned and wasn't allowed to be uploaded. So I expect with reacting just to the highlights, it'll either get demonetized. Like I said, I don't get money for it, so that's not an issue, or it'll just get straight up banned and I won't be able to upload it. Anyway, what other comments we got? Yeah, Shadow Muffin. That's. I think you're on the same lines as what I said. That it's almost like you buy a new car, and then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. If you're not actually looking for something, you almost tune out of it.
yesterday. All three of the penalties France have conceded have been a breakdown.
Yeah, you get the same on Sky with the turning on and off the crowd noises, for example. It's a tricky one with the crowd noises at the moment because without the crowd noises, it just sounds like a training match, and it just takes away any of the excitement. Not that football's been exciting recently, but yeah, I think you've got to have the crowd noise on, even if they sound stupid half the time. I just don't like that. I just don't see why the French player kicked it. He had two players to his right, and he's just this player injured. That's good. Wow, we want that injured beef. Ah, it's half time. Ignore me. It's half time. I want injured. Right, let's catch up with some of these comments. Oh, no, it's up to. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So you've got the. Let me turn the sound off so we're not hearing commentary and whatnot. Yeah, so that was my thinking. Like you're saying, played with the whistle. That you got one line, which was the closest line, and then you've got the back line, which is the 15. Because obviously they were set. I can't remember who it was, but someone said that the people outside of the lineup, they can only touch the ball after it's gone 15 meters. That's why I'm assuming, because otherwise, how do they know where the 15 meters is? So that's why those lines are there, I assume. Guys, I'm thanks for watching. I'm gonna quickly go for a wee because this drink is going straight through me. I will be back in 37 seconds. All right. Cheers, guys. I'm back in 2 seconds. I didn't know. I can't see. Oh. Oh, right. 37 seconds. That was close. That wasn't too bad timing, was it? The wife's under strict orders to be quiet upstairs. Right. Let's see any comments, guys. If you've got any questions, if you've been following my videos, you may know sort of some of my jobs and what I do. So any questions, you're welcome to ask. definitely wasn't 100. It wasn't 100 seconds, Sam. You're overreacting there. Do I think refereeing football will ever change? No. No, I don't. Thanks, Creamy. Yeah, so right, I'll come back to you, Creamy, and I'll answer Sam's question first. Do I think football refereeing will change? No. The problem is, firstly, you've got to change the culture of football, which there's millions and millions of fans. How can you change the culture? It's so difficult. And I've talked about this loads in my specific refereeing football when I talked about the difficulties we've had, which if you've watched that, I went through a lot of things that you probably won't know about as an outsider, things like club marks, which is stupid. But until the FA back the referees, nothing will change. Nothing will change at all. So that's a huge problem. And you can see from things like the Respect the Referee campaign, it's just words. That's all it is. It means absolutely nothing. You know, it's saying things, but actually these things need to be backed up by actual actions rather than just words. So no, I don't think anything will change. Right, next one. Yeah, on the followers. So talking about me doing YouTube, starting YouTube, I've wanted to start a YouTube channel for ages, but I didn't know what specifically to do. I'm not, although I'm technically minded, build computers and all that, you know, phones and internet, I can do all that. But I think on the graphic side of things, that's always been the thing that I'm thinking, oh, that's the tricky thing. So I would always want to make the best quality that I can do. So it's trying to find what I can physically and technically do. And doing these reactions has certainly been within my limits, which is good. But I started just over a month ago, so not long. Got some advice from Eclectic Beard, Alan, and he's been lovely, and we did a little collaboration. So I got a lot of followers from his channel, which was amazing. And then I did the Nigel Owens video back in the middle of February, and nothing really happened. And then all of a sudden, I think it was 2 nights ago, I looked on the analytics and I saw that it had been featured on Rugby Onslaught website. It's just like a blog page, and that seemed to correlate with it going up. And it's been amazing that actually people have been interested to hear, as a football referee, what I'm thinking of these different sports. Obviously, at the moment, it's rugby, but although American football makes me a bit cross, I would still like to know about that, and hockey and the Gaelic sports, Australian football. I'd like to get interested in not necessarily following it, but knowing about it and understanding it. So this whole rugby content's been brilliant, and it's, like I said, it's brilliant to know. The fact that I've got 32 followers on at the moment, or people watching, like, I'm no one. I'm no one. So the fact that you guys are even remotely interested in what I've got to say, you know, it means a lot. It really does. Right, what else? Where are we? Right, hang on. What football team do I support? I support Southampton, which can be painful, especially at the moment. Not being able to score goals, letting stupid goals in, leaking goals. Yeah, so it's a funny one, because I always supported Man United as a child. When I turned 18, I finished college. I became a pest controller, hated it. And then I went on and did my coaching qualifications. And my level 1 was done at St. Mary's Stadium. And I was able to actually watch. I was actually able to watch the games live, and that just completely changed everything. My uncle and everyone's Saints fans, so I then season ticket there, and that was for the love of Saints. But it's painful sometimes, really painful. We got a 420 in progress. What does a 420 in progress mean? I don't know what that means. Opinion on video ref involvement in this match. Has there been any video involvement? I don't know. Has there? There's not been anything I've seen that has been because of the video. I thought all these penalties that were given were quite obvious that the referee saw. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was. Tim, do I ever want to chin a footballer in his face? Yeah, plenty of times. So obviously I did the video on, what have I forgotten his name? In the Ipswich game. And like I said, there's only so much a referee can take. You know, you're getting constant abuse. And like I said, if you haven't seen it, please watch the video I've done about difficulties of refereeing, because there's a lot of stuff. It's easy that I've seen in all the comments, oh, just book all these players, send them off, whatnot. It's not as simple as that. It's honestly not simple. So please watch that video if you haven't. But yeah. There's only so many times that you can just take abuse, or, you know, not necessarily just from individual people, but from the whole team. Players try and intimidate you. They try and intimidate you, and I've had that plenty of times. Charlie, my wife, who's cooking, she doesn't like coming and watching me referee because of the abuse I get. So that says something when your wife doesn't even want to come and watch, you know. Kean, a couple of years ago, in a match with Nigel was referee, cleared out by the right, and stop the game. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm not sure how quickly a game would stop if the football goes straight into the into the referee's face, or a referee gets wiped out. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. I've had a couple of times where the ball's hit me once in the face and in the freezing cold, and you just think literally you can see where I'm standing, and that is the place you kick the ball. I'm not sure how quickly they would stop. So yeah. Are you showing the game live? No, Sean, I'm not showing the game live because copyright will be on me and shut me down. So no, sorry. But what you need is 2 monitors, guys. All right. If you're on a PC, if you don't have 2 monitors, shame on you. All right. Dylan. Have I ever thought of being a rugby referee? And so I stress, when I was at school, the school I went to was very rugby orientated. Yes, it had football, it had hockey in, but it was more rugby orientated. And so we obviously did it a part of PE, and I just remember getting flattened, and that put me off. So this is now that I'm getting into trying to find out more about rugby and learning about it, and actually I'm appreciating it. I've had quite a few comments saying, "Oh, maybe you should switch the Hampshire rugby would happily accept you in." If I start getting into it, then I'm sure that might be a possibility. But there's a lot of new laws to learn when you're starting something from scratch. In football, there's a lot of laws to learn. But because you're brought up with it, it's a little bit easier. I've not been brought up with rugby, and therefore it's not second nature. So it's a lot harder to learn something. So possibly we'll see. We'll see how interested in it I get, and if I start following it a lot more. See. What rules would I implement in football to stop diving? At the top level, especially with VAR, I just cannot understand. One, why players are diving, because everyone can see it. But secondly, it annoys me because VAR is not picking it up. So I give the example. I'm going to have to be quick with these questions. Stop asking me questions, guys. The game's about to start again. As a Saints fan, the week we had Aston Villa and Man United, Aston Villa, Grealish dived outside the box, trying to leap into the box to get the penalty. He got the free kick. VAR should have seen he dived. Martial was in the penalty area. He dived before there was any contact. That was the first offence, and that should have. So I don't know, but the referees need to be seeing what is a dive. If the player is going down before there's any contact, that's it makes me crazy. In a game without VAR, it's a little bit trickier because at the end of the day, with diving, players are trying to deceive the referee. They're rarely making it look rubbish. They're trying to make it look as real as possible. So you've got to decide if they've dived or not. But with VAR, it should be clear because they get replays of it. But yeah. Sin bins. So we have sin bins at the lower level now. So obviously from the Wessex League down, I think we've got sin bins which work really well because it's the same principle as rugby. If you let your team, you're letting your team down, and it's a worse punishment. If you just give a yellow card for dissent, well, it's not letting anyone down unless you obviously get sent off. So it's the same principle. So yes, sin bins need to be introduced at the top level all the way to the bottom, not just the bottom level. Like I've said before, it means kids can see. I'm going to turn the sound back on just so I can hear slightly. Kids need to be able to see that dissent is a bad thing. On the stupid laws in football, it makes sense, but it's not necessarily stupid, but it's one of my pet peeves that's come along. In football, they introduced so that you could pass to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper can pass to a player inside his own penalty area. But what that's led to is rubbish teams playing short out from a goal kick, being no good at passing and giving the ball straight away. And the problem for a referee is that your positioning has to change. You're normally set up to be facing at halfway line, facing the play. But if they play short, you'd almost don't know where to stand. It's a nightmare. Shadow Muffin, 2 days ago, I popped up in your YouTube. Well, good job they recommended me to you. You lucky devil. Yeah, so I said, Kian, that when you say about that they should send players off for a certain amount of time, that's obviously sin bins, and like I just went over that, so you know the situation in football at the moment. Sean, no, just you need to stick it on your phone, stick it on ITV on the ITV hub. He's at his finger, the French player. But no one's stopping. He's hurt his finger and he's getting back into play. He'll deal with it when the game stops. Yes, Shadow Muffin, you've got to have 2 monitors. Creamy, yeah. Like I said, I think I'm 5'7" at a push. Or should I say I'm 5'7" when I'm talking to the ladies, although I'm married now, so when I used to talk to the ladies. And I think at school, I literally had the ball and ran straight into the player that was the biggest lad at school. And when it's wet, muddy, it's not a nice feeling. 3 monitors? 3 monitors? It's a bit much, 3 monitors. Tim, you need to upgrade your setup. You need to invest, all right? PC Master Race, my friend.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
That was my friend Google.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Never do. That was a good kick. He seemed to get the ball very far up the pitch. Oh, he's just kicked it straight back. What? I assume that could be quite dangerous. The fact that the players kick the ball and 2 players are running at each other looking at the ball. Surely there's a few times they just clash.
Back to those early days of great England-France matches, they were the days when you could tell the backs and the forwards. It's getting harder and harder these days.
Cyril Wright, one of the best fly-ups on the field. He's doing a brilliant job because he has also carried a bit and he's carried aggressively. He's not
Sam P, maybe you need to have Bet365 on another computer screen. That was a forward pass, surely. That from 7 to 14, that looked like a forward pass. Google's my best friend, okay? Yeah. Let's just say I've excluded myself from gambling websites. But it definitely looked forward, though. From the camera, it definitely looked forward. So with the scrums, another question, guys. With the with the line throws. Oh, they're doing a scrum now. But a separate question. With the line throws, they're not allowed to hold the player up. It's literally up and down, I assume. Let me know. Get out of the way, ref. Trying to put the ball in. Nice throw. That was like a trick. That was a bit like a Rabona in football, wasn't it? That throw, little behind his back. It just seems a bit sloppy from, like I said, this is coming from someone that doesn't know a lot, but it just seems a bit sloppy from England to be giving the ball away after being tackled. Do they? Yeah, it just seems a bit sloppy.
The ideal opportunity to break. Just watch the
okay, thanks. I'm definitely going to call you Lau Tragal. Hope you don't mind. Yeah. I can understand what I'm saying about them being sloppy. I can understand them not having good handling of the ball. Hang on. There's a dog. She's barking. I can understand them not having a good handle of the ball if they get tackled from an angle where they're not seeing them. But if they can see a tackle coming in, surely they're bracing the ball, and they're professional players. They should be able to hold on to it, surely. Gale, like Clichy.
Off the back of the line out from France. Lovely handling, holding defenders, moving at the back. England scrambling early. January not quite come off the gas, just to allow his mates to catch up. And Maritime looked brilliantly again to get off the line, but he can't move. I'm sure he didn't want to fall there. I'm sure he's trying to roll out. Sometimes you just got to look when you wiggle a bit.
Back on the whole, the line throws and obviously up and down. I assume that's another subjective one for the referee to call, isn't it? Cool, like Gael Clichy.
Some of whom might have their club shirts on the left-hand side in the north stand. Within the 750 of them have been sent in to remind the England players of who's out there supporting them. But those club players, the grassroots players, itching to get back onto the training pitch at the end of this one. The excitement started to build, and thankfully, having had a period of time where they weren't able to play.
I think this comment about grassroots rugby wanting to get back, desperately getting back to playing is very universal with all sports at the moment. France are pulling away.
It's like flipping Ben Young to something special, wasn't it? You all go mad when Aaron Smith does that, does that. That was beautiful stuff. What system error in defence from France. Lovely stuff for Ben Young.
Slaps it down onto the head of Chalobah. He very quickly transfers it to the big transporter Aldridge. Chalobah's kick was being pressurised by Ben Youngs, and
I assume that was pretty good of England to make the French player kick out, not quite so far up the pitch. So that was good play, I suppose. As long as England can obviously win the ball back. Nice.
There was some accidental obstruction in midfield, and England.
I didn't see any obstruction there. What do you mean by obstruction? Let's look at the replay. Ah, okay. So is it number 13? Sorry, 13 just kind of crossed over the play, and I assume that's not allowed then. That's why men like doing cheerleading, isn't it, over in America? So they get a nice woman's backside in their face. I can't believe the linos, the referee linos are wearing jumpers. And they're not even trying to keep up with play. I did say in one of the videos, I think I asked a question to someone about how the rugby linos keep how much they run and whatnot. Now that I'm actually concentrating on it, they don't run a lot. They're not even really keeping up with play. Surely they should be keeping up with the ball, but he's not. Yeah, I get that, Ken. Yeah, I think I saw. I saw what you mean. Yeah, but as a football referee, it's just easier to call them linos. But like I said, it's not like he's doing a lot of running and keeping up with play. Sorry about the dog barking. She likes to bark out in the garden. Little pain in the ass. Yeah. But if they're you're saying that they watched for
to remember is that the players have to be able to jump
What was
to
it? Someone who was it just said. Well, technically, us football liners are called assistant referees, but even us assistant referees, you know, we call ourselves linos. Okay, I would just think it would make. I would from a football refereeing side, you would just think it makes sense to be in line with the ball, so that you can see for things such as forward passing, for example. Maybe that's why the lino missed the one early on in the game.
Between the uprights.
16-20. There's only one try in it then. Shadow muffin, yeah, but as a lino in football, you know, there's three main things we're looking for. We're looking for when the ball goes in and out of play, an offside, which in terms of offside, it's the same thing in rugby. Our offside is more or less is rugby's forward pass, isn't it? And also fouls in play. So we're still looking more or less the same things. Slightly different, obviously, but. Well, to be fair, Sam, most footballers don't know the laws of the game, so it's nothing new, it's nothing different. I think the difference is in rugby, the players assume that the referee does, whereas in football, even though they know they don't know the rules, they assume the referee doesn't either. What went wrong there? Why was that awarded to England? Was it the turning? Okay, yeah. So I was sort of right. Oh, he went down. Tim, I'm going to be a typical referee and say, actually, it's laws, not rules. This looks scruffy. For starters, the number 8, the black number 8 was... He's pulling his shirt. Surely that's not allowed. A little bit of everything. So obviously every referee is not, well, I say every referee, the majority of referees do middles at a lower stage, and then they're allowed to lino at a higher stage. We mainly learn our linos. You might get a little half a day course at the local referees association. So here it would be Hampshire FA. But you learn more on the job as a lino. You rely on your middleman helping you through the game to start off with. And this is the problem when you get bad middle referees that just aren't there to help, and it's all about them. Kick. I am based, I'm happy to say, hopefully no one's going to stalk me, but I'm from Winchester, but I'm based in Eastleigh. I can't afford to live in Winchester. Far too expensive. So you're from up north, really, then, Lincolnshire. Why did you move to London? You must have a well-paid job to live in London. London is Winchester prices. Time for fresh legs, though, I assume. University, fair play. Oh, wait, from East, what were you doing in Eastleigh, Mr. Gale Clichy? It's probably, I say it's more of a assumption that it costs a lot to live in London. I assume it's more in the central London that costs a lot rather than the outer bands. But in terms of location, I said my best friend is a police officer in the Met. He lives on the outside of London. He won't. We want him to move to Hampshire, but he won't, because one of the reasons is he'll have to take about seven grand pay cut. I just think that's a waste. Just from an outside, I think that's a waste. He's just given the ball away. He didn't need to kick it. I know he's got no support if he gets tackled, but that's just a waste. The Winchester. It's when I did my collaboration with Eclectic Beard, on his page, obviously he had a lot more comments than me because he's got more followers than me, but it was quite funny because they're obviously used to Alan trying to learn things about Britain, England, or whatnot, and I had a few comments that said, "Oh, he's posh. You won't learn anything. You won't learn anything from him about Britain." I'm thinking, what? Just because I'm from South England, and I'm from a posher area, although I am a working class person. That's a bit harsh. You don't have to be northern to know everything about England. Drop the ball. Drop the ball. It's just sloppy, isn't it? Surely it's sloppy. They're professional players. I suppose it's the same as, I don't know, footballers completely missing a penalty. I don't know. They're professional players. They should be able to hit the target. Oh, right. The Winchester, like the pub. It's turning. He's out. I've been refereeing 7 years as of last November. I can't pass the fitness test, though. I can't run 2.6 kilometers in 12 minutes. So although I'd love to get to level 4, my asthma just stops me. I can referee for 90 minutes, 120 minutes. It's stop-start, but I just cannot run a solid 12 minute 2.6 kilometers. But that's a separate issue. Trying to keep it on the pitch.
Twisting on 18 from their own 22. Slade with a long clearance, but Dulac with time to build on halfway. Thomas.
Pressure's not just for tyres. What does that mean in the context of this match? So I'm a level 5 referee. So I referee Hampshire League, Hampshire Premier League, which are teams, some of the village teams. A lot of the village teams. I referee Hampshire League, and if I'm on the line, I referee the Wessex League. But I do FA Cup games, so I do the FA Cup prelim games on the line. I can do the FA Cup youth under 18s. I do the FA Vars. I did before everything stopped again, I did FA Vars first or second round on the line. That was all right. That was pretty good. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get you about pressure. Yeah, it's the pressure, I suppose. Yeah, the pressure's costing them.
Making life difficult. Aldridge. How many times has he done that for France today? Dupont under a lot of pressure. He did well to get it.
There's been a couple of times here that England have done well to quickly put pressure on when France are trying to take a kick and kick it up the pitch, which I suppose is good. I suppose they just desperately keep the ball in the French half. Oh, he's done well. England done well to keep that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, in the regional leagues, yeah, just as bad. Possibly worse because they're not on camera. You know, I will happily say there are about 3 clubs I hate being appointed to, and one of them is on running the line at Lymington Town. And it's not necessarily because of the players, although occasionally you get bad players at Lymington, but it's the manager and the assistant manager. They will scream at you, and that's where you need the backing of your referee in the middle when you're on the line. Honestly, it's embarrassing. You know, managers and assistant managers and coaching screaming at you because you didn't give a foul. Like, what? Because it wasn't a foul. So this is what you have to put up with. And the problem with being a lino is, especially when you're on the dugout side, when you're the senior lino, you get a lot of abuse. You can, I know not always, but you can get abuse from the coaches and assistants. And they expect you to give the decisions that the middle guy is giving. It's as if they think you've got the whistle when you don't. And quite often the middle guys at that level are at, I know it sounds harsh, there's some really nice guys at level 4. Sometimes they're out for themselves and they don't really want your input. Parents, so I do, as I said, I do under 14s to under 18s as well. I like to help out. You get appreciated a lot more. Parents can be bad, but because I'm one of the only senior, and when I say senior, I mean adult referees officiating for that level, I've got no problem in telling the parents to shut up. Basically, I will happily explain to them very bluntly why I've done something, and if they don't shut up, they're gone. I've sent parents away. I've had a grandparent basically call me a cheat and call me bent, and I'm thinking, I don't care what team your kid plays for, your grandkid plays for. Like, I no reason to cheat. So he was off. We didn't carry on until he left. So yeah, parents can be bad. Yeah, they can be, but it's because it's their kids, you know.
Just that strip of the ball with the right hand, doesn't pull out the fight at all, does he? Initially makes the big shot. Nakatawa stays on his feet, so he uses that upright body position to reach that arm in there and strip the ball down, using his body weight just to prize it.
Yeah, so this is my point, Simon. As a liner, you obviously can't send players off. You can't, but you are there to, if, for example, a manager or coach is giving you a lot of abuse and whatnot, you either rely on the referee hearing or you tell the referee, but then it's down to the referee to actually to be brave enough to send the manager or coach off. And this is my point about, this is partly the referees if they're in it for themselves sometimes, because actually they don't want the grief of sending a manager or coach off, because it, they might kick off with him instead of being focused on the lino. So I can't, as a lino, you can't obviously get rid of anyone, but obviously you have to rely on the referee doing it.
These players do like a little bit of a gap, so they can explode in a little bit, try and buckle the opposition's body shape and get them moving backwards.
What are we thinking then? Who's you've got? Well, there's 12 minutes left. 12 minutes left. Who's going to win? It's close. It's literally one try, isn't it, for England? But certainly England are putting more pressure on now, and it certainly seems like they're trying to actually be a little bit more of what in football we would say a higher line, pressing at higher level, at higher line. Yeah, so Simon, that's so for me, because I'm not going for promotion. I'm at level 5. I've had 4 attempts at the fitness test, which I struggle with. So I've got no intention of going for promotion at the moment unless I can sort of the run out. But when you're level 4, you almost want to go for promotion. There isn't that. If you've got the fitness, you've got the fitness. That's why you're there. So that's not an issue. So some referees want to stay at level 4, but a lot want to go up. So you are constantly being assessed. So at that level, at that level 4 level, you've got A to B in club marks, and you've got A to B in assessor marks. To get promotion to level 3, you've got to be basically top in both marks, in club and assessor marks. So yeah, that's so when you say about obviously not wanting to send managers off, yeah, and because it relates to what I said, because when you're at that level, you're almost in it for yourself. You send that manager off, they give you a low mark, that affects your chance of getting to level 3. It's ridiculous. So this is the point. Ball gone out of play. Did you not flag to say the ball had gone out of play? But yeah, this is why they got up. Well, go on, keep going, keep passing, pass it, get it out. Oh, France are crowding them. They are not getting up the pitch now. Looks like a very, very tight defence from France. It's almost as if France aren't even trying. It's 10 minutes left. Are France even going to try and go for another try, or are they just going to sit back and keep everything as tight as possible? It's interesting that the tactics are similar in the fact that. Yeah, it's interesting. The tactics are similar in the fact that you try and hold your lead. HOF. I'll write it on a post-it note. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, I said 12.6. So it's basically 6.5 times round a running track. Running round a running track is dull and monotonous. HOF. Hang on. HOF. Yeah, and so on the breathing side of things, it's frustrating because I can do 90 minutes easy. It's not even a problem. I don't even get any asthma symptoms, but it's just that 12-minute run, and it's frustrating.
Chuka Benjamin Kaiser say with us a couple of weeks ago.
I don't even know what the H. I'll Google it, but oh, Creamy's not sure.
With the language.
Alex. So I think I think when at level 5, when you get to level 5 and below, no, you don't really get reassessed. There's no real chance of downgrading. It's when you're level 4, and I assume at the higher levels, because I assume the higher levels are similar. When you're level 4, where you've got those 2 bandings, the same way that if you're in AA, your chance is high of getting promoted. It's very similar that if you're EE, you're going to get relegated. And I know of referees that have got downgraded in level terms. They've gone from they've gone from a 4 to a level 5, and then they've had to go for promotion again to get back up.
Ollie Lawrence, the England replacement. Also brought on Jamie George and Will Stewart in the front row for one last big push in the final 8 minutes.
This is surprisingly close considering what you guys originally thought.
Just happy to keep the ball on the pitch for Johnny Nater running back through what they hope will be an organised defence. Ford, Farrell. Is the new man. We got some up there as well. Ford, Daly, continue to run flashy lines.
Go on, weave, duck, dip and dive and all that, like dodgeball.
Swiveling looking left and right, brilliantly taken by Ford. It's getting the shoe, cuts back into midfield to preserve the.
They're getting close. England are getting close. This is going to be a very tight finish.
France right now hanging on to their Grand Slam hopes, but that's been lost by Curry. And England forced all the way back, and there's a bouncing ball to be dealt with.
Like you just said, Alex. No, I was just saying they're getting so close, but they're giving it away. The guy literally threw it as hard as he could, and same as football. If you kick it as hard as you can at someone, it's hard to then control it. So it's those silly errors. Getting so close and just silly errors. And even I can see that as someone that, like I said, doesn't follow rugby. But it's, see, there you go again. Go. I assume there's no such thing as a shirt pull offence.
Ford, Billy Bonafola. Ring him with a penalty. Absolutely breathless stuff. Well, the coaches bring in 90-second drills where you just go for 90 seconds constantly. 3-minute drills just to build this sort of fitness, this sort of decision making under pressure.
It's there's a phrase I like to say. It's not about how much possession you've got; it's what you do with it. And it seems like England are having a lot of possession, but they're not doing anything with it. Which I suppose is tough because, like as I've said, it does look like France are staying very tight, very compact.
Robson on for Ben Young. So big first throw for Jamie George.
The first and the last.
Magical game of the Six Nations rugby. Jules gathers high for England.
Okay, so it's not an offence if the player's got the ball and you grab his shirt, but it is if they haven't got the ball, basically.
England have another penalty, but they want much more. Farrell over the ball. The new man, Will Stewart, has it. He's driven backwards by Olivon. Now we're looking closely at this. Sean Edwards, good defence. Instead, we're looking closely at Itoje. May not have got it down. Teddy Thomas.
A little bit of everything. How do you think I feel as a Southampton fan? We can have plenty of possession, lovely passing, all in your own half, and can never penetrate the penalty area. Time out.
Okay, on to decision, hold up.
Joy Neville.
This is the first real example of TMO that I'm seeing, which I assume is similar to VAR. It certainly does the same symbol as VAR.
Potentially does. We'll have to have a look. Check the other angles as well. Before that.
So can someone explain? Can someone explain what they're looking for here?
Francis Grand Slam ambition might be dependent on the length of that.
Was that if it was over the line or not?
The first was about moment, please.
Just on the line, Andy Brace's decision on the pitch is no try. So we have to see something definitive here. Joy Neville has to see something definitive to change that decision.
It's a tight call, just hold on, please.
I think it will come down to the question. I think if it's the other question, the try is given.
So, yeah, well, I assume they want the ball to touch the ground, but in the actual try area.
We've heard the question. I think it probably is grounded, but do we see it?
You may award the try, if the ball does touch the ground.
Gordon is good, yeah. Okay, Gordon is good, yeah.
Maro Itoje has scored the try.
Okay.
To the Twickenham groundsman. The blades on his mower have been an extra couple of millimetres lower. England wouldn't have scored that try, but they have.
I get what you mean, because yeah, it certainly looked like the French player had his hand under the ball. The ball was on top, and technically the hand touched the floor first. If that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So whereas in football, the ball needs to be past the line. Anything on the line doesn't count. Has to be over it. Oh, why am I buffering? I'm on 76.50 and I'm starting buffering. Don't do this to me. To be fair, I've buffered. Hang on. That's okay. I don't mind. To be fair, it appears I've lost connection. Yeah, there you go. I lost connection, but the wife has given me her tablet, which has connection. So right, I am on 78, 47, 48, 49, 50. No, right, I'm back on the computer. Don't know what happened with the internet. So right, I'm on 79, 21, 22. Right, yeah, I'm on 79, 31, 32, 33, 34. So 10 seconds left to hold on, I assume. Yeah, that's cool. Well,
wonderful French side. They will head towards their World Cup in a couple of years' time.
So I think this is so. What happened in the end there? What happened in the end there? Obviously, the French were winning and they did everything to defend. But sometimes attack is the best form of defense, I assume. Well, thanks for joining me, everyone. Like I said, I massively appreciate it. I didn't even expect this many people to watch along, and I'm glad that everyone was. No, Alex, I don't think, just from watching from the outside, I don't think England deserved to win that. Very sloppy, it seemed. A lot of balls given away that the French didn't do. But like I said, I think when you sit, same with football, when you sit back and just defend for the last, say, 10, 20 minutes, you're inviting pressure. You're inviting the other team to come and try and score. I assume it's the same. Am I watching the Scotland game tomorrow? Not sure. If I am, I can possibly put it up here, and you know, I'll decide tomorrow. I will leave it there, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching, helping me out with some questions. Hopefully, I answered a few of your questions about football. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. Thank you, guys. Any more questions? Anyone want to ask any more questions? Andres not found. I have no idea what he just said. Cheers, Gail. Thank you, mate. Yeah, it was interesting, Simon. It was interesting, and it's I think it's obviously more interesting if I know why penalties are given, for example, and why fouls are given. But I think the overall is same with football in the sense that the aim is to score, get the ball in the goal. Rugby, the idea is to get the ball over the line. It's knowing the more it's knowing the laws, isn't it? I think that makes the game more interesting. And I think it's interesting at the end there that that you guys all debated, even though you saw the replays, you guys debated whether or not that England was a try or not. So it actually shows that it's similar in football, that some of it's subjective. The referees in that game gave the try. Some of you are saying you don't think it was a try, even though the visual evidence was there or was not there. Yes, that was interesting. I did enjoy it. Like I said, Neil, I think the more I know in the sense of laws of the game, the less confusing it is. So I can more sit back and watch in a more relaxed manner, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think knowing the laws will make a huge difference. And not even all of the laws, just like I said, it's the understanding of why the referee is given a certain decision. I'm going to put up a video. I'm going to film a video now, and just give my reactions to watching it. What I thought, some similarities, some differences, things I enjoyed about it. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put it up. It'll be up soon. The longest bit is actually processing it from Adobe. So I hope you guys, like I said, I'm amazed that at one point I think I had about 42 people watching, which is fantastic. But yeah, what we got? Yeah, basics. Get the ball across the line. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate. There's only so many times I can say I appreciate it. Hopefully, you'll watch what my actual reaction is after when I do a little video. These conversations are going to have to stop now. You guys now all debating it. Oh, I'm going to have to make a note of this, guys. I'm going to have to make a note of the fact that in football, you have VAR, you get all the replays, and there's still people second questioning things, right? There was a try given, even with the kind of VAR TMO thing, and you guys are still questioning it. So that, oh, Pixie's joined me. So it just shows that all sports is so subjective, even though the laws are the laws, and so that's really interesting. You keep debating this in the my next video. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye from Pixie.